Hello, buddy. Welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor, and I just want to do a really quick channel update for people because there have been a few different things that we've been trying out over the last month or so, and a few different transitions that I'm thinking about making here. So, the main stuff that I want to talk about is how the streaming is going on Twitch, what I think about that, what I plan to do for YouTube in terms of YouTube content, YouTube streaming. So I've got a lot of thoughts on that. Viewer night, I talked about this last night on viewer night, sort of what's the dilemma with viewer night lately, what are some solutions to deal with that. And then talk a little bit about some of the emotes. I'll just say emotes in general because I'm probably going to put those on YouTube as well. Um, let's go ahead and start off with Twitch for a little bit. So the main story here is that for those of you that haven't kept up, I have been streaming my live streams on Twitch, and I've been uploading some of those streams to YouTube over time. And you can always access those on Twitch for up to 48 hours as well after they're released. So I started doing that in early July, I think around July 3rd or so. And the big thing was I was just really frustrated with YouTube at the time because we had been getting about 150 to 200 concurrent viewers all throughout June. And then just kind of out of nowhere, we were dropping down to about 100 to 120 concurrent viewers near the beginning of July. And they did that to me last year too, and I was kind of frustrated with that. So I just said, you know what, I'm going to give Twitch a try. People have been telling me Twitch is the place to be, for years. That's where I need to go for live streaming. And, Twitch people make all this money, and YouTube is not like a streaming platform and things like that. And YouTube had just gotten rid of their YouTube gaming, which no one really used that anyways. And so I was just thinking, hey, YouTube's given up on it. Maybe this is a really good opportunity to move over to Twitch. I already have a really big following. Well, sort of, big enough, I thought, to get to partner on Twitch pretty quickly, right? Because we have 25,000, or I guess like 26 or 27,000 subs or something. And we were routinely on YouTube, for probably the average over the last 3 years or so, have been getting about 120 to 150 viewers. So I was like 75, no problem. Well, turns out it's a problem. Turns out it's a problem. So let's talk about what I've kind of learned here and what I want to do going forward. Okay, so number one, subscriptions are definitely up, and that's really good. So we have about 75 or so Twitch subscriptions right now, which is very good. On YouTube, we peaked out at about like 45 or so after being on YouTube for about a year and a half or so with the subscription option enabled when they started allowing memberships. Maybe it hasn't even been that long since they've allowed it, but I think they started that last summer. Anyways, about a year, maybe a little bit more. We only had 45 on there. On PayPal, we've had more on PayPal over time as well. But the 75 within a month is very, very good. So that's great. Now, one thing that I mentioned down here, though, is some of that is definitely cannibalizing, though. We've had several people cancel their YouTube membership and cancel their PayPal memberships in order to support on Twitch, which makes sense. They're like, hey, I've got a Twitch Prime, I'll just support him with that or whatever. And there's some people that are on all three, that are helping out with all three, which is great. But it definitely is cannibalizing some of the memberships, which was to be expected. But overall, it's net positive in that respect. Lots and lots of subscriptions. So thank you all very much who have subscribed and come out and check that out. Okay, but the big kicker here for affiliates, and this is something that I didn't realize. I thought that affiliates still got ad revenue. They do not. So you do not get any ad revenue on Twitch whatsoever. They keep all of the commercial money, and you can't even skip most of the commercials, which is really frustrating. And they're all like 30 seconds or something, versus YouTube, the commercials are a lot less invasive. It's usually 5 seconds. You can skip it, and the content creator gets the same amount of money regardless of whether you watch the whole thing or you skip it. So ad revenue for affiliates, you don't get any, and that's really bad. So I'm just going to give you a hypothetical. This is not the exact numbers that I get, but this is kind of like a standard rate, just for easy numbers here, okay? So I'm not going to confirm or deny whether I get more or less than this or whatever, but hypothetical numbers, 5 CPM, which is cost per mil if you're in advertising, which means you get that many dollars for X numbers of views on your channel, or impressions, as they'll call it, people who see an ad on your channel. That would be about $5 a day if it's 1,000 views on a video per day. Now, 30 days average in a month, that's $150 a month. That is roughly 60 Twitch subs worth of money. And that's, a very conservative low number. So, subscriptions are great, but 75 subscriptions barely covers the cost of this hypothetical like loss of all ad revenue. So that's definitely really rough financially there in terms of that. So that's something that I did not expect to keep in mind. Now, partners, I believe they get some kind of revenue, but I'm not sure what the rate even is on that. Okay. Another thing is I was thinking, okay, Twitch, if I have a decent following, right, if I can roll up with like 75 views, that'll get me on like maybe the second page or something of Twitch. If I have some good keywords, there's not a lot of support players out there, so a lot of people will search and, find me and check me out. No, no, not happening. Even with like my following from YouTube, where we were getting 150, 100, 150, 27,000 subs. Even on like a bad night where not a lot of people were showing up, we'd still get 1,000 views. I'd say that probably about 90% of the viewers that are watching my Twitch came from YouTube. Either they came over directly because of they knew I was streaming on Twitch and they want to hang out, or they heard about my Twitch stream from YouTube and came from like watching a guide, or they like my Total War content and they just want to drop by and say hey or whatever. Very, very few organically show up from Twitch itself, at least according to the statistics. Less than 10% every night come from what they're calling the browse page. So that is not good at all. Versus like YouTube suggested videos still accounts for like 60% or something of views. So that's rough. And then like the concept of rating and like collaborating with other content creators and stuff like that is good. But in reality, it really doesn't make that much of a difference. I know Lev's been working hard to try to get us some extra exposure. One of my mods, if you don't know Lev, if you've ever been to a stream, you'll know who she is. She's there pretty much all the time, talking to everybody, hanging out. Great boon to the channel. Great member of the community. But she has set up to where there were some bigger streamers. One of them was named Saber, I believe, who raided us pretty early on. And a raid just means that people come in from another channel and they call it a raid, right? And I think the Saber raid brought in like 60 viewers or something temporarily, but they all left like pretty quickly, and virtually none of them have returned because we've actually been going down over the past month in terms of average views. Now, yes, I did take a vacation around the 4th. I can't remember the exact day. Maybe it was the 12th. Or something like that. But anyways, I did take a 1-week vacation. I was like, okay, well, maybe it's just a bit slower because I went on vacation. But it's been like 3 weeks since I've been on vacation. And the views still aren't there. They still aren't coming back, Because we were starting off when we first came over from YouTube. We were probably pulling in, the first few nights, we were pulling in like maybe 75 to 80 on average on a non-viewer night. Non-viewers night, I should say, non-Sunday. Which we'll talk about the problems of viewer night here in a second. But we're pulling in like 75 to 80 on average. It's been trending down a lot. Lately we're only getting like maybe low 60s or something on average, and sometimes even lower than that. So it's actually been trending down. So when I first came in from YouTube, there were actually more people there. And the longer that I stay on Twitch, there's actually less people there, which is really confusing. So, the raids are cool. And there have been a couple other smaller raids that people have had. It just doesn't get a lot of people in. I've been dueling with someone who at one point was the #1 Jinx NA, Tian, who's been a lot of fun. And he pulls in like, I see him on his page, he'll get 30 to 40 or something viewers. I've been cross-promoting with him. I've been saying, hey, check out Tian. We can gain some, and to try to build a community there. Don't get anybody from that. I think if anything, I think he's gained a few people off of that, and we haven't really gained anybody. And this was my, the same thing when I've dealt with people in the past that were content creators. Like they would gain, some of my viewers, and some of my viewers would sub to them or give them donations and things like that. But I wouldn't get anything from that, right? Like I've duoed with Nasty before. Didn't see anything out of that. Although I'm sure some of my people, learned about him. He got some exposure. That was when he was much smaller, when he was like 8 or 9,000. I duoed with him. We cross-promoted. We even did a collaboration, right, where we worked with another challenger player back when I was Diamond and Nasty was Diamond and Mino Haxor was Challenger. We did like a talk show kind of thing, and cross promoted on everybody's channel. And I was like, okay, great. Now we can cross promote, get all these different minds together, all these different content creators. Video got like 700 views, something like that. We gained virtually nobody from his viewer base in sort of that cross promotion. So like in theory, raiding, duoing, doing these cross promotional things can work, but they just haven't at all. You know, we just haven't had any extra views from that stuff that's long term. Yeah, we might get some initial spikes. We did learn about Tegro, who is another duo that I've played with. It was pretty cool. And, you know, he gifted a bunch of subs to the channel, and he subbed, so that was great. So we did get some growth off of Tegro, and we had some fun times, some good games with him. So that's great. So there's a couple of things here and there, but by and large, like trying to grow organically through these collaborations with other content creators seems to be largely unsuccessful. Yes, it has only been a month, but we've done this several times, even on YouTube, like I was talking about with Nasty, and we've, you know, done some stuff with Kleenex in the past too. Had a really small following, but he was a cool guy, and we cross-promoted and stuff like that. But what ended up happening was a lot of people that, not a lot, but some people, like Celaguara, as a, you know, a mod here, started spending a lot more time over there. And I know there were some people, you know, from my channel that were over on his channel a lot more after that, which is fine. But I'm just saying that I don't personally gain a lot out of that kind of stuff. And I don't get the kind of exposure that, you know, it seems like in theory you could get off of that kind of stuff. And so the overall viewership has declined a lot, right? And I was kind of hoping that more people would come over, but, you know, the viewership's down 40 or 50%, which is, you know, obviously a staggering number, right? And this is not just like a 1 week or a 2 week thing. This is like over the course of a month. So we are averaging about 60 views. YouTube, you know, even in kind of the worst of times, were 80 to 100. And, you know, 100 to 120 was pretty standard. And then the total views is another thing to look at that's really important. So after a stream on Twitch, virtually nobody watches the replay, right? We've got like maybe 80 people watch the replay on Twitch. Versus on YouTube, you know, we might have 500 people, like unique people, watch it live, but then the total view will be like 1,300. So a lot of people come in and are willing to watch the replay on YouTube versus they were not willing to watch the replay on Twitch. And so we'd end up with like maybe 600 total views on Twitch versus 1,200 total views on YouTube. So that's, you know, that's been a total bust. And, you know, that could be for a variety of reasons. I know early on, the transcoder thing with the technology, people were saying that had to watch it in lower resolutions, couldn't watch it in lower resolutions. I know there are some people that say that, you know, they just can't watch Twitch in their country, or they can't watch it while they're at work or whatever. So it just doesn't have the same kind of reach as YouTube does. And that's, you know, really obvious. There's almost no click-through for notifications. So, you know, whenever I look at, there are 500 of my 1,000 followers on Twitch right now. That's the thing. People aren't even coming over and following. Like, we got 27,000 people subbed on YouTube. There's only 1,000 followers right now on Twitch. About 500 of those people have notifications turned on, but only less than 10 every day actually click on the notification. Less than 10. So that's pretty rough. And someone pointed out on stream a lot of times, you know, they just don't notice when I'm streaming, even though I've been closer to time. I've been starting around 9 or 9:45 every night. They just say, you know, a lot of times they'll forget, or they just won't notice because they're on YouTube all the time. And so they would just see me pop up on there, and they'd say, oh, okay, I'll drop by for a little bit. I'll drop by for a game or two. Versus on Twitch, you have to specifically go there, you know, to watch somebody most of the time. It's just not a destination where people are hanging out all the time like they are on YouTube. So it just gets a lot less exposure on those notifications. So I know a lot of people had complained that they did not get the notifications on YouTube and weren't clicking through. But on Twitch, it seems to be way, way worse in terms of that. And don't forget you can always join our free Discord if you want, the Strategy Professor. There'll be a link in the description, and then just follow me on Twitter at the Strat Prof, and I'll announce every time I'm streaming. So if you want the notification on there, and I don't post anything except for on Twitter, except for just saying that I'm streaming, so I won't flood you with notifications. But if you do want those notifications, you can go on that platform as well. But yeah, that's really a shocking amount, because that was one of the main draws also, is people were saying, hey, you always get the notifications on Twitch, right? You can always click on those on Twitch. Twitch is way better than YouTube about it. Well, I can't imagine that YouTube is worse than only a 10 click through. I haven't looked at those exact numbers, but that's rough. So we talked about cannibalizing memberships a second ago, so we are getting a lot of great subscriptions, but there are people that had canceled their YouTube membership and their PayPal, both because they wanted to support me on Twitch, but also because, maybe they were mad, or they just didn't want to support me after, I wasn't streaming on YouTube anymore. And there's just far less interest in coaching and guides. Now, I don't know if that's just, coincidental or whatever, but I have noticed that I haven't done a single coaching session during a Twitch stream so far. Like, not a single person has asked for a coaching session during a Twitch stream. There have been far less people that have donated for, like, champion, like, just $10 for me to play a certain champion. Ow, God, Sadie, what the... Oh, my God. Is my mic still working? Okay. She just, like, jumped right on the cord and, like, just about pulled this off my head. Yes, you. She's, like, sitting there staring at me like, what, man? So I don't know. But as far as, like, coaching, guides, all of that stuff, there's just none of it on Twitch. So I don't know if just the audience there, I don't know. I don't have a good explanation. That might just be a coincidence, but that's something. And then just all sorts of, like, technical stuff. Like, there's no rewind feature, so if you miss part of the stream, you can't go back and watch what you missed. There's transcoder issues. Most nights I have a transcoder, but some nights I don't, so it can be difficult to get different quality options if you can't watch it in 1080p. And there's, like, replay issues as well. I can't put timestamps in the replays. Like, trying to post the replays up to YouTube is sort of an ordeal, because I have to wait 24 hours. It takes forever to upload it. Like, a really, really long time, like 6 hours or something to upload it. And because it's a huge file. I mean, it's like a 20 gig file or something like that. Maybe not that big, but it's pretty damn big. It might be that big. It's huge. So it takes forever to upload it. It has to be more than 24 hours as per Twitch's policy. Some days I just run out of, like, storage in the middle of a stream, and I didn't even realize it. So it's just a lot more annoying to deal with that. So my final thoughts on the issue then are that Twitch is great for partners, but it seems pretty bad otherwise in general. So this is pretty much what I had thought for years and years. I just figured I'd give it a try for a month. But yeah, I mean, like, on paper, it sounds great. Yes, you can get a lot more subscribers because of Twitch Prime, and we have had a big growth in subscribers, although that has fallen off over time. And most of those people that are subscribing there were people that were watching on YouTube. So that's an issue. In theory, you can get, like, sponsored to play certain games. You could get invited to things like Twitch Rivals. There's a lot of good stuff that's possible with Twitch, but it's basically a club for the elite, and most people on Twitch are peasants, and that's it, including myself. Even with, like, a fairly decent YouTube following, and even averaging, like I said, 100 to 150 most nights on Twitch or on YouTube, it's still not enough to get access to this stuff, because it didn't even convert over to partner. For partner, I need to average 75 viewers per night. We're not really close to that. Right now, we're at, like, 57. So it's just rough. So I think it's a great platform for partners, but it seems pretty rough to make that your only platform for everybody else. It's just tough, I think, compared to YouTube. As much, like, flack as YouTube gets, is, like, as bad as the interface is, the reach is better, and it's just a lot more accessible to a lot more people, apparently. Now, yes, part of this is because I've spent years building up a following on YouTube and not on Twitch. But I've known people on Twitch, some like almost all the other people that I've duoed with and streamed with have had low numbers on Twitch for years and years and years, despite, streaming a lot. I know Kleenex was streaming every day for a while there. Roach has streamed for a while. Tian, dude is streaming. There's some days he's streaming like 12 hours or something, and he's like, barely cracking 30 a lot of the time viewers. And he was the former #1 Jinx NA. Like, he's a former master player, diamond player. Like, the platform's just really, really difficult. People just do not go to discover. They have like the huge content creators have a massive fan base. People go there and watch them. They get promoted. They get to go to all the cool events. They get all the money. They get all the stuff, and that's great. So it's like if you're part of the 1% club or whatever, it's great. But if you're not, it's rough. So what is my solution here? What do I want to do about this? So I still want to keep some of the Twitch stuff because I know some people are really excited about Twitch, and I do really appreciate, the 60 or the 75 rather Twitch subs or so that we have now, and I do want some people to get some value out of that. So what I want to do is try to stream Twitch maybe 2 or 3 days a week until we get to partner. This will allow me also to talk about the days that I do stream on Twitch on YouTube, so maybe we can get a higher turnout. Because for some reason, it doesn't matter how many days you stream on Twitch, really, to get to partner. You just have to average so many hours. I think it's like 2 days a week you can get there. I'll have to look again. But I think it's 2 or 3 days a week. So we can do like what it's going to take to get to partner. And then, so like maybe Friday or Saturday or Sunday or something like that could work. And that will allow some of the people who prefer Twitch, the Twitch preferers. That's not a word, but I'm making it a word. It'll allow you to have a few days on there where we can have some fun. You can use the Twitch interface and things like that. I will say that most people that I think, a lot of people anyways, that have subbed on Twitch to support me are also subbed on YouTube. The people that are there like every night watching. So I don't think this is going to be a big deal for most people. But yeah, so you can still support me on Twitch if you want. And I will be there, 2 or 3 days. But then I think running the majority of the days on YouTube is probably a better idea, at least until I get to partner, just because there's just way more viewers there. Obviously, it's going to make more people on the channel happy to do that. It'll still give some access to people that, just can't watch the channel otherwise. So that's good. And so, once I get to partner, I might be able to negotiate a dual stream. I know that some platforms have that. I don't know if I'm big enough for that, but maybe I could say something like, look, YouTube, you can keep all of your ad revenue. I just want to be able to dual stream on YouTube. And it'll help bring people over to Twitch as well. I can maybe make the case for them. We'll see. But that's what I want to do for now. It just seems like we're just not accelerating fast enough to get to partner. And there are just all these other issues to think about here. And eating the loss of ad revenue is a really big deal. It's starting to become a big deal. Like, I could eat that for a while, but I don't see enough acceleration to justify eating that cost and getting less viewers and things like that on the channel. So anyways, and I'm going to try to do a better job of like promoting, like starting on time and promoting just different stuff, like some end notes and maybe doing some production value, a little bit more production value in the guides and things like that. Releasing more guides, all that kind of stuff to help out with YouTube and indirectly Twitch as well. So let me know in the comments what you think about that. So I'm not like doing a 100% 180. I'm still going to be on Twitch some, but I think that splitting the time will allow everyone at least a couple of nights a week on your favorite platform, and then sticking most of the time on the platform that just has the most viewers by a long shot. So it makes sense to me. Okay. Viewer night dilemma. So I don't want this to be too much longer. I talked about this a lot on the last stream, but let's just talk about it here just really quickly. So the numbers are down a ton on Viewers Night, and Viewers Night has been an enterprise that we've had for probably about 2 years or so now. Maybe 1 year. I think 2, but I'm not 100%. I think it's been about 2 years. And when it first started, people were kind of hype about it. I was a much smaller channel at the time, and we had a much much higher percentage of people that were willing to play in it, that were becoming channel members to support it, and that were watching it. So I don't remember what the viewers used to be like that far back in the day, but it was probably something like we'd have like 60 viewers or something on YouTube, and I would say that on a viewer night or something we might get 50 viewers. So it was like slightly less, but a lot of people would watch. It was interesting. You got to see some personalities from the stream play. It was cool. It was fun. It was a novel idea, but over time. It has really taken a turn for the worst on many, many fronts, I think. So, right now there's about 50% less views, and it's been trending downward a lot. So, like last night, we were at like kind of the near the peak hours, like around 11:30 p.m. on viewers night. We were getting like 30 viewers. 30. That is unheard of on my channel. Like on YouTube, I have just stayed after hours and just talked about random stuff and had like 90 viewers on numerous occasions. Just talking about like school stuff or philosophy or whatever. Like 30 is ridiculous for like a channel that historically has been 100 to 120. I've peaked at over 300 concurrent viewers before on several different occasions. There was just like a month and a half ago, we were averaging like 180 to 220. So 30 is absurd for a channel like mine. So just nobody wants to watch this hardly. Like it's only the most hardcore of hardcore fans are sticking around to watch this. And even some people that are here a lot just aren't watching it. And so that's really, really rough. And it's been trending downward over time quite a bit. I mean, even on YouTube, we were dropping down, to like 70 or something viewers on viewer night. But yeah, that was really bad. And then fewer of what I believe are probably 10% of donating members actually play during viewers night. So like the vast majority of people that donate to support the channel either through PayPal, YouTube, or Twitch actually come out and play. So it's not like even most people that support the channel play. I would say most of them don't even watch. Like not only do they not play, they don't watch. So that should tell you something right there, that even the people who are donating don't want to play in it and don't want to watch it. And there's a few reasons for this. So number one, there's really low quality gameplay most of the time. So a lot of people are playing in their off rolls. A lot of people, there's mismatched elos. You'll have iron people matched up against silvers, or you'll have silver people matched up against gold or platinum people. Just kind of all over the place in the elos. So it's not unusual to see like multiple people going like 0-7, 0-8, 1-10, that kind of stuff. There's what a lot of people consider to be troll picks. Not always, but there are definitely some members that pick stuff that's just not really that competitive. So there's some weeks there's more of that than others. Sometimes it's can be kind of casual as well. Like some people just aren't playing to win, and things like that. And it should be casual. It should be fun and stuff like that. But the bottom line is, it's not a good viewing experience for most people. Some people are thinking, well, why would I watch this when I can just go play my own bronze games and see the same thing, So that's one of the major issues there. Also, there's less quality commentary from me. And, there's some of that, but I can't really critique the play of any of my teammates. And I know some people see that, I've been accused of like, oh, that's negative or salty. But I think the reality of the situation is most people don't see it that way on stream when I'm playing against solo queue people. I mean, sometimes it is, but sometimes just having a legit like critique of, okay, the jungler should not have done this in that situation because of these reasons, or we should have played this lane in this way for these reasons, or, whatever with whatever reasons, right? And I feel like I can't do that with members because I don't want to hurt people's feelings. I want to keep it positive. as much as possible and things like that. But it means that there's just less critical commentary, so people just can't learn as much. People can't appreciate what's going on as much because I can't comment on it as much, other than sort of my own play. So there's that, and then that's partially why I don't go into the Discord as well. Like, I've tried that in the past, where I go into the Discord and talk with everybody, but unfortunately, the Discord that I mentioned here is just not as broadcast friendly. And so what I mean by that is some people just don't have good sort of, I don't know how to say this exactly. They don't have experience in broadcasting, and so the stuff that they talk about or how they talk about it, or even just like their mannerisms or voice or whatever, it's just not broadcast level, right? Like, it's not what people would necessarily want to hear or see. Now, there are some people that are very, very good, like Focus Ezreal. He's great. We love Focus Ezreal. He has an award-winning voice on the channel. He's smooth, he's funny, he's just a great guy. Like, Focus Ezreal, Roach, Celaguara, a lot of people, and a lot of Kleenex, a lot of people on the stream that we've duoed with, that we play with, and things like that. They all, it is fun. It is a good dynamic. It's cool to get some banter, some back and forth and stuff like that. But sometimes it's just tough, if people are just complaining about stuff, or like I said, they just aren't used to broadcasting and things like that. And that's not their fault. It's fine. But that just makes it difficult to do Discord stuff on stream. Because I've had several people, some people like it, but some people are just like, I can't watch it when you're in Discord. So that's kind of a tough one. And then viewer versus viewer, we were doing that for a while. I think it was last spring, and that was kind of fun while it lasted. But some of the problems that I was afraid of for years started cropping up, which is like, it's extremely difficult to balance, and it can create some feels bads, right? Where it's just like, sorry, man, we can't have you on our team. You're iron. We need to mix this up a little bit. And then it starts harboring some resentment too. It's like, oh man, I've got this dude on my team again. I really wanted to win this game. So it kind of gets competitive at times. And then some of the higher elo people can feel bad too. They're just trying to do their thing, but they're just stomping everybody all the time. And so I hate to say, hey, X person, we can't have you in this game, or we've got to try to find some way to split it up. So, we tried that. It just created just bad feelings everywhere after a while. Not like really bad, but, I think some people were definitely frustrated with it. And so, my solution then is maybe we could do one game per person per week, because right now we have the same 5 to 10 people playing for like 5 hours straight on stream. And so that way, if people want to get their game in, if they want to play, we can do that. And then that way I can still do mostly ranked on Sundays. So we can do, 1 or 2 viewer games so everyone gets their game in and it's fun. And then we can do ranked the rest of the night. So we could try that out. If it's still low viewership, we might have to suspend it and reevaluate. Now, if it's lower viewership on YouTube, it won't matter as much, but it does hurt us quite a bit if we're going for partner on Twitch. We're getting lower viewership. So we can experiment with that. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. I think 1 game a week is perfectly fair. For a subscription, like, to play a duo game with me, like a coaching game or something like that, is about like $20. If you want, like, I don't usually do live coaching, but if you wanted to play a game with me or whatever, it's somewhere between $10 to $20. And so getting 4 of those for the subscription, in addition to, getting recognition on the channel, I've got the emotes and stuff coming in. I think that's still a pretty good bargain. Most content creators don't give you anything other than just the emotes for being sub. So, let me know what you think in the description about that. Does that seem fair? Would you want to, would you come out and watch it more if you knew we were only going to play like 1 or 2 viewer games at the start and then we are going to have ranked? Would you stick around for those 1 or 2 viewer games if you knew you were getting ranked? Would you still want to support the channel and play in those games if you're a member? So let me know what you think about that. I think that seems fair. There have been other suggestions, like, why don't I play a viewer game at the end of a stream or the beginning of a stream on other nights? I really don't want to do that because I don't want people to come in thinking they're going to see ranked and then being mad that they're not seeing ranked. So I think I would still like to have it designated on one day, but maybe just part of that day. And then I've got some emotes coming soon. So, I've been talking about this on stream. I just have to kind of pull the trigger on it and figure out how I want to do it. I need to talk to her and figure out different rates. But I believe I can still use the same emotes on Twitch and YouTube. I'll have to double check that, but I think I can do it on both. YouTube does actually have emotes that you can do, custom emotes. And then I might want to do some merch off of Teespring or something. I know that YouTube, I believe, has a partnership with Teespring. So I could look into that and see, and then I could get like some of those images, like bigger versions of them that are kind of funny. Some of the ones that you're going to see here. So I'll have to talk to the emote person and see if I can get a big version and a small version of the same artwork. I don't know if she would do that for the same price or not, or how that would even work on a t-shirt or like a mug or something. But I could look into that and see, because that would be a really fun way for me to get emotes and some merch of those emotes with like larger, better resolution, which could be fun. So some emote ideas. I want to do like a professor, like a cat professor in a suit, and that would be like the badge. Let me know what you think about that. I think that could be pretty interesting and fun. Because people like the cat on the channel, people like cats in general, and then having that professor look could be interesting. That would also fit along with my follower join screen with the cat reading the strategy book, so it already fits in with part of my theme on the channel. And then you would just have this cat doing various random things in the suit. So it could be eating or chasing a turkey, for the turkeys that are going on in solo queue. Or a clown face paint. Maybe have a sombrero for Clown Fiesta. That could be kind of fun. Cat excited raising their paw for poggers. I think that could be pretty fun. We were having some fun with that word over the last few days. And then maybe like a chocolate milk mustache or something like that could be fun. I mean, cats aren't supposed to drink chocolate, but they do like milk. So that could be interesting. And then maybe just a couple other ones, like an A+ or something, or like a chalkboard behind the cat scribbling out ideas. There's some other stuff in there that could be interesting. So let me know what you think about all this. What do you think about the emotes? Do you have any other good ideas for the emotes? What do you think about this solution of Viewers Night? And what do you think about the split streaming? I don't have an exact schedule yet, but maybe, tonight we'll still do Twitch, but then maybe returning to YouTube tomorrow or something like that. And just seeing how it goes with splitting the time so that we can hopefully get the best of both worlds, where people can enjoy us on whichever platform they want, but then just trying to give our priority back mostly to YouTube, just because that's where most of our viewership seems to be. But anyways, that's going to be it. Let me know what you think about all this. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube if you enjoy the content. Follow me on Twitch if you want to help support there. Check out the rest of the guides on the channel, coaching sessions, all sorts of stuff. We have it all out there. I am covering Teamfight Tactics. I haven't done any this week, but I'm going to pick it back up in the coming week. Or last week, I guess I didn't do any, but I'm going to do more in the coming week. And yeah, that's going to be it. Have a good day. See you next time.